Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting a company update from Labrador Gold, which trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol LAB. Joining me today is Lab's President and CEO, Roger Moss. Roger, how are you doing today?
Very well, thanks, Megan. How about you?
I'm good. And to start things off, Roger, for those new to Labrador Gold, could you please introduce us to the company?
Yeah, sure. I think we've been around for now as Labrador Gold for about 5 years, and many of your listeners that have followed us will know that we had a fairly significant change earlier this year where we sold our flagship property, Kingsway, to Newfound Gold. And so now what we've got at the moment is our Hopedale Project, which is the main project that we have left. We have another 3 which are sort of on the back burner at the moment, but Hopedale is the next one up, and it's in Labrador, and we really like Newfoundland and Labrador because it's a very good jurisdiction to work in. It's very supportive of mineral exploration and mining. And the team that we have out there is great. They've been with us for at least 4 years, in some cases as long as 7 years. And our shareholders, major shareholders, have been really supportive through the last 5 years, and also with our divestment of Kingsway earlier this year. So right now, this is what our share structure looks like. We have a market cap of just under 14 million, with 170 million shares out, some options, fully diluted at 177. One of the I think good things for us is that we still have around $6 million in the bank, and that's really good. Obviously, it has been hard to raise money for exploration in the past year or two. I think it's getting a bit better, but we haven't needed to go to the market and dilute for some time, and so I'm happy about that. Also, I should mention that our sale of Kingsway was for 5.2 million shares of Newfound Gold. And they're currently valued at about $18 million. So it's a pretty good cash and cash equivalent point that we're in. Major shareholders include Palisades Gold Corp, Newfound Gold, Crescat Capital, and our largest shareholder is Eric Sprott, who's been invested in us since 2022, I believe.
And before we talk about today's news release, could you give our viewers an overview of your Hopedale project and target areas within this district scale property?
Yeah, as I mentioned, Hopedale is in Labrador, and so it's a district scale project, which I know many people say that, but this particular project, it covers probably about 60-70% of the Florence Lake Greenstone Belt, which we can get into in a minute. We've done quite a bit of exploration there already. We've got multiple targets, and while people may think, oh, we're in Labrador, that's got to be incredibly remote, it's actually on tidewater. There's a fjord that runs down from Hopedale on the Atlantic coast, and so we can actually barge material in from the coast, and there's daily air service from Happy Valley, Goose Bay to the Hopedale community. So it's not as remote as it might seem, and it's a pretty good place to work. This is what it looks like. This is the Greenstone Belt shown here in the pinks and greens. It runs for about 60 kilometers from the northeast to the southwest, and we have about 43 kilometers of that under license, which you can see here in the red blocks. And it has been historically underexplored. I think Labrador Gold has done most of the exploration that has been carried out on the project to date. And what we have found is that there's in addition to gold, which was our primary commodity, there's also good potential for copper, nickel, and zinc in this package. And the other thing, of course, to remember is that greenstone belts, pretty much worldwide, tend to be prolific hosts of gold mineralization. And this next slide here shows you that these are footprints of gold camps in Ontario. So Timmins, Red Lake, Lauder Lake, and Kirkland Lake. And at the same scale, this is the footprint down here in the bottom right of the Florence Lake Greenstone Belt. So certainly in terms of footprint, it's definitely in the same range as those Ontario gold camps. Obviously, we don't know that there is no resources on the Florence Lake Greenstone Belt gold occurrences yet, but there's some pretty. We certainly have the size.
Now, today the company announced results from your summer field program, where you followed up on a number of previously identified occurrences. Can you walk us through this campaign and more notably discuss some of Labrador Gold's success along the Thurber Dog trend in the north?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've been working here for some time now, and we have discovered a lot of occurrences. I think it's 14. We're up to 14 occurrences now. Some of these are more advanced than others. And as you mentioned, the Thurber Dog trend, which is up in the north, and that's been our main focus for some time. But more recently, we have started to look at the copper and nickel and zinc prospectivity of the belt, and we can see some of those results here at Jasmine, for example, at Misery, and down here at Rusty Ridge and Last Resort. So there are significant potential for these base metals, and of course with the world being excited about critical metals and the need for critical metals for the green economy, having these kinds of metal occurrences on the property gives us a little bit of optionality other than just gold. Although, to be honest, gold is doing great right now, so we have no problem looking for gold. And in fact, this is our gold area, if you like. We call it the Thurber license, and it's the northernmost license of the Greenstone Belt. And what you see here is basically a 3-kilometer trend. That's we can see it here, and this is defined by gold in soil samples as well as in rock samples. And you can see some of the results here in these different occurrences. There are four occurrences here, 5 if you include the Thurber boundary, which was one of the results that we announced today. But significant gold in rock samples, mostly grab samples, but we have done some stripping and channel sampling at the TD500, which is our most advanced occurrence here at along the Thurber trend. So lots of interesting gold occurrences here along the Thurber trend. And one of the things that is interesting, I mentioned this 3-kilometer trend down here. And let me just get this up here. So this is the 3-kilometer trend. The Thurber boundary occurrence, which we reported on today, is further to the northeast. It's right, and we call it the boundary because it's on the boundary of our claim. But here we have the potential to add another 1.5 kilometers of trend in similar stratigraphy up to the border of the license, and so that's pretty exciting.
So you've now delineated 4 target areas on the Thurber license area. Would any of these now be drill ready? And if so, what would you consider as the highest priority for the next phase of exploration?
Yeah, I think probably TD500 and Thirbadog would be ready for drilling. We do have a little bit of geophysics just to fine tune the target. So that would be in this area here. TD500 is where we did channel sampling a year or two ago. Had some good results there with decent grades over mineable widths. So yeah, that would be our #1 priority for drill testing up here at Thurber.
So let's talk about the Labrador Gold strategy. In previous interviews, you've discussed the company's assessment of more advanced stage projects for potential acquisition. Are you able to provide an update on this?
Yeah, well, I think for some of you newer listeners, what we were thinking even before we sold Kingsway to Newfound Gold was, given that we had a pretty good treasury, it made sense to look at some advanced stage projects, by which I mean projects that had a resource, significant resource, and we have pretty much confined our search to gold resource projects with decent gold resources. And obviously, the reason for that is that gold price is doing really well right now, and I think we're up to what, $2,760-ish dollars an ounce. And looking around, you see that a lot of these companies that are cash strapped, that have been struggling to raise money, their resources are worth about $10 to $20 an ounce in the ground. So if we can use our cash and cash equivalent to acquire something along these lines, where we have a significant resource that we can acquire for the $10 to $20 an ounce range, I think that's a good strategy. We have been working on this for a while, as you said, and we're continuing to work on it, narrow down. We started off with a long list of projects, and we're down to a few now that we're doing more significant due diligence on. So yeah, I'm confident that we will, at the end of this process, we will end up with a project with a significant gold resource in Labrador Gold.
And to finish things off, could you quickly recap the investor opportunity with Labrador Gold?
Yeah, sure. This is, to me, it's the news today was all about Hopedale, and it's work that we've done. Even when we had Kingsway, we were doing work at Hopedale in the background. It's a great project, and there's lots of opportunity for more discoveries. As I mentioned, it's a greenstone belt, and greenstone belts are a very significant host to gold mineralization, especially, but also base metals like zinc, copper, and nickel. But I think really our main asset right now is obviously the cash in the bank, the $6 million, and those 5.2 million shares of Newfound Gold, which are, I think, I'm not sure what they're doing today, but they're worth about 18 million right now. And so it's 24 million cash and cash equivalents. And I think our market cap is around 13 million today. So very undervalued based on cash and cash equivalents. And I think the ability to use that to acquire one of those advanced stage gold projects I was talking about, I think that's really something that investors should be looking at, and how we deploy this cash in the months and years ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, once again, we want to thank you for your time today, Roger, and we look forward to having you on back soon for another Labrador Gold update.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Megan.